Hello, 88. That is the average number of applications that an IT admin manages in today's organization. In some of your organizations, that may even be a higher number. That's a lot of applications. In the next 15 minutes, I want to share one powerful strategy to reduce that number from 88 to 87. Yes, I'm talking about simplifying the user management overhead of Smartsheet. This session is called License and User Management at Scale. Thank you all for joining this session. In this session, we will actually talk about a few items that may encompass forward-looking statements. And we'll also talk about a few trademarks, but they are not endorsements in any manner. There are a couple of learning objectives in today's session. First and foremost, we'll learn about the different user management options in Smartsheet. And specifically, we will drill down on directory integration, which is a powerful capability to help you manage users at scale. By the way, my name is Sri Pisharodi. I'm a senior product manager with the Smartsheet administration team. I specifically focus on the product management side of things. Our team actually launched several capabilities in this space in the last several months. You have already heard about Admin Center. Admin Center is the new experience for admins to manage their Smartsheet organization. Several of you have given feedback in the past several weeks. Thank you for all that feedback. We are making several improvements to Admin Center in the coming months. And one capability that we added recently in Admin Center is user merge. It allows you to fix duplicate accounts that belongs to the same user. So this capability is currently only available for enterprise or premium plan customers. One other enterprise plan capability is event reporting. This has been around for a couple of years now. It allows you to track all the actions that take place inside your Smartsheet account. And it's very powerful from a security and policy enforcement perspective. So highly encourage you to check out that feature. And finally, directory integration. That is one capability that we'll spend some time in today's session. Let's talk about a few concepts first. What is user management? User management is the ability to add users or remove them or edit them once they're added. Simple. That's it. A related concept is license management. Now, Smartsheet has this concept of license features. If you want to take advantage of capabilities such as creating a sheet, for example, right, that requires a Smartsheet license. Now, the sysadmin has the ability to allocate licenses to users and take them away when the user is done needing access to license features. So license management with user management will allow you to manage users in Smartsheet. A related concept is directory, which we'll talk about in a couple of slides. Directory is nothing but a list of users and the applications that they have access to. Some common examples of directories are Azure Active Directory, which is Microsoft's cloud version of the Active Directory solution. Okta is one other provider that also sells directory services. The session title has the word scale in it. Now, scale can mean multiple things. In this context, scale talks about the list of users that you have in a Smartsheet organization. So any user management strategy that you adopt has to scale with the number of users in your organization. So we'll talk about that in the next slide. User management options in Smartsheet, you can think of it from two perspectives. There is the list of options in Admin Center, and then we'll talk about directory integration. Now, to clarify things a little bit, we'll pick the example of a company, let's say Acme Corporation. Now, Acme Corporation is a company that has several thousands of employees. Now, they just learned about Smartsheet, and they have adopted Smartsheet to manage a project of, let's say, less than 10 users. Now, at this point, the admin's responsibilities are pretty minimal. They just have to add users, a couple of them, probably assign license to a few users and remove them when done. It's all pretty straightforward. Now, this project, because they are using Smartsheet, becomes wildly successful, and other teams in Acme want to learn more about Smartsheet and they want to use it, right? So now you're talking about tens of users who are interested in Smartsheet in Acme Corporation. So the admin's responsibilities now go up slightly. Admin Center still helps them because you have the bulk capabilities such as creating users by just creating a CSV file with a list of email addresses and just importing them into Admin Center. You can edit them in the same format. All this works well as long as you're talking about tens of users or even probably the low hundreds. Now, when Smartsheet becomes widely popular, as is the case with most organizations, you're talking about hundreds of users or even low thousands of users trying to use the app. Now, at this point, the admin's burden actually go up slightly, I would say even significantly. So that's when we strongly urge our admins consider user auto provisioning. Now, this is a very powerful capability. It allows you to automate the whole onboarding process around adding users into Smartsheet. What it does is it allows you to validate a domain that you own. So in the case of Acme Corporation, they can prove to Smartsheet that they own the acmecorporation.com domain. And all users who belong to that domain with email addresses that end in acmecorporation.com are automatically pulled in when they interact with Smartsheet. So very powerful. It simplifies the whole onboarding experience from a user management perspective for admins. At this point, Acme Corporation has a lot of sharing going on, right? That's when the concept of group management comes into picture, and it helps the sysadmin and the group admins. With group management, you have groups, which is nothing but a collection of users, and this collection is to simplify sharing for everyone involved. So instead of sharing to individual users in the organization, what you can do is you can collect or organize those users into one group and you can share to that group. Now, the group admins can manage memberships of their groups that they own. So it all helps in the scale conversation. One other capability that we added last year was license request management. Now, this is a simple way to track all the license requests in the organization. The admin can actually react to the request by either granting the request or declining it, as the case may be. Now, all this works well for Acme Corporation as long as we're talking about usage within a few hundred users. Now, as Smartsheet becomes the platform of choice for collaboration among all Acme users, IT takes over because at this point you want some consistency in management of users, and you want to ensure that all the security policies that you have from an IT perspective are enforceable. That's when directory integration becomes your ally. So directory integration at its simplest is nothing but connecting your directory, which Azure AD is one example that we talked about, with Smartsheet so that you can do a one-way sync of users from Azure AD into Smartsheet. So think of it as creating groups in Azure AD specific to different roles in Smartsheet. So let's say in the case of Acme Corporation, we create a licensed users group in Azure AD. We assign that group to the Smartsheet app within AD in a few clicks, and you add users to that group who need to have a license. Now that information just flows into Smartsheet in the next sync from Azure AD to Smartsheet. So it's quite simple to set up, and once you set it up, everything just works magically. Now this, if it was not obvious, it offers you several benefits. One main benefit is that you can bring in administration of Smartsheet into your system of record, which is Azure Active Directory. You already have automation in place to manage users in other applications in Azure AD. You can leverage that automation with direct integration. So when an employee joins the company, you just add them to the relevant AD groups, depending on the type of roles they need with Smartsheet. And that assignment just flows into Smartsheet. And they get access to Smartsheet right away and with the relevant roles. Similarly, when that employee leaves the company, you remove them. You already have a process to remove them from your Active Directory. When that assignment is removed, that information is propagated to Smartsheet and the user is removed from Smartsheet. So your overall user management time goes down significantly by virtue of this automation and this integration. That's the second benefit that is highlighted here. And one thing that I touched upon earlier is that when you remove a user from your company, or when an employee leaves the company, one challenge that customers have today is that they have to go to Smartsheet separately and remove that person. With this integration, that problem just goes away. So there's no risk of that person continuing to have access to Smartsheet, even after they have left the organization, or even after they have, let's say, changed departments, or even after they no longer need access to Smartsheet. It's a very powerful benefit. It improves your overall security posture. One understated benefit is user profile management. So you no longer have to, as an admin, you no longer have to manage profiles of users in Smartsheet because you already have things like department, manager, cost center, other pertinent information, right, in your Active Directory, and that information is automatically flowing into Smartsheet. So you do not have to worry about going into Smartsheet separately and managing that profile information. All of that happens automatically. So this takes away a lot of the overhead, both for you as admins and also for your users. So today, if you're not using this feature, your users typically have to go and update profile information within Smartsheet. And sometimes there may be inconsistency in the profile information between Smartsheet and Azure Active Directory. So all these problems go away when you have data integration. So four big benefits. In closing, we in this session we talked about several user management options, and we talked about why user order provisioning is a recommended choice for customers who have large-scale adoption of Smartsheet within their organization. We also talked about data integration as a superior option for customers with org-wide adoption of Smartsheet, where you are talking about tens of thousands of users using Smartsheet, and talked about the different benefits of using that option. Now, if you are excited about this, I'm hoping you are. Please reach out to your CSM, that is your customer success manager, or the Smartsheet support team to get directory integration activated. And just a reminder that directory integration is only available for enterprise and premier plan customers. So if you are not on one of those plans, I'm hoping this is enough incentive for you to upgrade to those plans. Lastly, Admin Center has several other capabilities. We touched upon a few in this session, but I'm pretty sure that you also want to explore those other capabilities. So we have activity-based learning sessions. We call them Engage Brain Boost that you can go and check after this session. And lastly, if you have any questions, we have a Smartsheet team standing by to answer them. So please ask them away. Thank you. I'm hoping this session was useful, and I hope you have a great rest of engagement.